Hello, beautiful light-filled souls. So, in a previous video, I made a statement about is the economy the most important thing to worry about during this pandemic? And I did not hear in my near-death experience remind them to go to the economy. I heard messages like love is all that matters. And I think we see this when we see people giving in a time like this, when you see companies being generous with employees, being generous with hospital workers, donating respirators, when you see people giving of their money to those who are hurting, then you see this as love. And when you see people working to help one another, to share their resources with one another in difficult times, we see this as love as well. And love is all that matters and all that we take with us. I did hear that message on the other side, and that became quite clear. I also saw that people do give in to fear and darkness and depression and sadness, and this is just a part of life. And yet this can be dispelled immediately with a knowledge of God and with a connection to God, that it doesn't have to be complicated, that you can in a single moment go from feeling the weight of this world, the weight of this situation, to just absolute bliss with a connection to God. And if there's anything that I want to give you energetically, is just a greater assurance that you are so vitally important and supported by your ancestors, your angels, by the love of God. And staying in that flow of God is really just asking that God's will be done in every situation. You may very well be a teacher to those around you. You may very well be the one who is bringing in that energy to everyone in your neighborhood, even if you do not step outside of your house. And I think this can be a lesson in energy, that your meditation, your prayer, can elevate the areas around you. Your love for a tree across the street as you look out your window can be a sense of connection to nature. So I did hear in my near-death experience remind them to go to nature. So that can mean so many different things, but this can mean staying in balance personally with nature. That can mean not over consuming. That can mean looking at very, very healthy foods that help your immune system. Bulk up on lemon juice and water and orange juice and fresh oranges and fresh fruits and vegetables. Live in a way that keeps your body vital and happy. And this may sound strange, but there are predictions that in America, many of us will at some point get this coronavirus. And so I am going to speak to the virus if I get it, and I am going to ask it to live in harmony with me, to not kill its host. I want to keep living and participating in this world. And I think that it's over aggressive at times, and that on an energetic level, we can even speak to it and ask it to not be so aggressive in its pursuit to live. And in a way, many people who have lived in a way that is aggressively focused on consumption are out of balance with nature. So this virus is out of balance, and many people have been out of balance with nature. The key to living in balance is just buying and eating what you need and living in a place of peace and harmony, not having a very large footprint on this earth, but really just honoring everything that you eat, whether you are vegan or not. Honoring the food that you eat is important, and certainly simple meals focused on plants can be very, very important at this time, and eating more meals like that, no matter your diet plan, whether it's paleo, keto, whatever the case may be. I do believe that things that are grown from the ground, that have, as my grandmother used to say, still have the sunlight in them, they aren't canned or dried or processed in any way, that there's a health that your body receives from that. And you can always use the angelic realm to help you with the supplements that you're taking, to help you with the food that you're taking. So back to the question though, is the economy the most important thing? I don't want people to suffer in the world anywhere, and I don't want them to suffer in the United States. I don't want them to suffer in any way. I realize that the Great Depression was a horrific time in history, and that millions of people starved to death during that time. And, you know, it was horrifying for those who went through it, and that is not my wish for this country or any country to go through that level of despair. What is my wish is that we learn balance, that we do not go back to the same way of being. And that means that many people who were not awakened to these ideas must awaken to these ideas. They must awaken to an idea of being in greater harmony with nature, of listening to nature's truth and wisdom, and finding simplicity and wholeness in one's life, and also finding a connection to intuition and divinity, and realizing that, you know, we are not disconnected from what to do next. We're not disconnected from guidance. And when I key into guidance, what I feel, and I'm going to say a prayer and a meditation at the end of this for this, is I feel that we are, through grief, opening our hearts to one another in a more profound way. That's one thing that is coming from this, that we are appreciating the friends and family members and acquaintances in our lives because of this isolation. And we're appreciating all of the work that is done in this world to provide us with things. And we're also looking, I hope, at new ways of being, of new ways of giving more credibility to energy workers, to spiritual workers, to those who are trying to shift us in a different direction. Because if you're looking for brilliant answers from politicians of any time, of any side of the aisle, in history or today, you're generally not going to find brilliance there. You're going to find brilliance in those who think deeply and aren't vested in putting forth an image or putting forth an idea about the world around them. You know, you're going to find, you know, artists and writers and spiritual teachers and people who think deeply. And I'm not even saying me, there's people far more brilliant than me out there who are thinking about society and sociology, and we'll be writing about this for decades later. That if you're looking for answers on television or through the people who are involved in giving you the information about coronavirus, most of the time you're not going to find what you need. What you need is to go to nature, to feel the energy of God, and to know that you are timeless. You have been here more than likely many times. This is just a cycle of life. There is nothing to fear in death. There is nothing to fear in this time period. And I do believe that I was born for this time period, and I believe that you were too, because we're here and we're meant to connect with one another. We are meant to center the best possible energy that we can during this time, and we're meant to be more and more open to God's will and to what does God want me to do in this moment. And so I am just opening my mouth and talking longer than I normally do, because I hope that I can connect with you. And I hope that we truly have an added energy simply by communing with those who are tuning in to God. And I'd like to pray now and just end this video with just a prayer for everyone surrounding you, no matter what country you're in, no matter what state you're in, no matter where you are in the world, that the energy of love flows out of you and into the people around you. If you're in an apartment complex, if you're in a house, wherever you may be, that energy is dispersed and creates healing and creates light and creates connection for both you and those around you, and that you continue to do this every day, because what better thing to do in self-quarantine and mandated quarantine than to meditate and pray. So couple of deep breaths before we begin. But dear God, let everyone who is listening to this video feel your love raining and pouring into their hearts. Let everyone feel as if they are cradled by the love of angels and supported and strengthened by the love of God. Let that light be turned on inside everyone's heart and mind and soul. Let them look to you for guidance, and let them look to you for joy, and let your love stream through them and into the lives of everyone around them. Energetically, this can be felt. This does not have to be even communicated. This love can simply spread across apartment complexes, across towns, across homes, across subdivisions, through the country, through many countries, that this love can be something that is circulated around the globe. That love is all that matters and all that we take with us into eternity. And we know you here now, and we know you in eternity as well. So send your angels, let everyone feel the love of their ancestors. Your ancestors know that you need them at this moment, and they are so proud of you. I mean, this may be something that a particular person needs to hear, but I'm just hearing so many voices say, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them, so proud of my son, my daughter, my grandchild, my great-grandchildren. There's so many ancestors who are just pouring their love into your life. It's like an army of people around you that you're not perhaps aware of, or maybe you are aware of, but you are so incredibly loved, every single one of you. So just know it. Know you're loved. Amen. Thank you for listening to this video, and may you be very, very blessed. Take some time to meditate and pray more today.